All right. It's been a while since y'all see my face. And boy, do I have a treat for y'all. So, it is currently 7:47 on the East Coast. And I am doing 3 hours of zone 2. I took a nap and I didn't want to skip the workout, so I went ahead and said, hey, let me go ahead and get this locked in, and I decided to jump on the bike and get it done. So skipping is for those who don't want it, but there's grace in that. But I didn't want to skip today. I wanted to get this workout in because, man, I have put in a lot of work over the winter season, and I don't want it to go to waste. So I am currently locking in my winter gains with the Zone 2 block for a very specific reason. Well, I guess you could say 2 specific reasons. Number 1 is last Sunday was my first race of the season, and I had a mechanical and I couldn't finish. So I got a new bike. Yes, I got a new bike. It's on the way. Go ahead and drop in the comments what you all think it is. What do you think I bought? As you know, I ride a Specialized. I may or may not have gotten Specialized, but I did get a new bike and it's on the way. So what do y'all think I got? I'm super excited about that. So my coach said, hey, let's lock in your gains from the winter and make sure everything sticks. And once the new bike comes in, we will get back to work. I said, yes, sir. Shout out to Liam. He broke his collarbone, but he is still out here responding and recovering and doing what he needs to do. So I appreciate that. But second reason, like I said, is to lock in the gains. Had a crazy winter, did a lot of work over the winter, and wanted to make sure everything was good to go, fitness wise. And what better way to do that is just a big Zone 2 block. So, 3 hours today, 3 hours tomorrow, 2.5 Sunday, a lot of Zone 2. Yeah, it's been a wild winter. Learned a lot about my body. If you haven't, you need to make sure that you take a off season. Like, that was the precursor to all this fitness that I've gained over the entire winter. It has significantly raised my base. And shout out to Zwift, because without Zwift, you can't, unless you're riding out in the freezing cold, you really can't train in the winter. It's cold, depending on where you're at. It's annoying, it's windy, it gets rainy, etc. And nobody likes to ride in those conditions. So, key in Zwift, and it allows you to train inside, and it keeps your fitness up. And I told myself, since I'm in Virginia, the flat part of Virginia, I wanted to do nothing but elevation. So I've been doing crazy elevation based courses, and just doing nothing but climbs. Not that that helps, because it's not the real thing, but I just figured, hey, all the best cyclists in the world are doing crazy elevation. Zwift has a way for me to do that. Let's take advantage of it. So I do a lot of elevation on Zwift. in hopes that it will give me a little kick over competition. So call me crazy, don't really care, but that's just that's me, challenging myself and things of that nature. So race season's underway, maybe 10 to 15 races, maybe more, that's on the plate this year, and really looking forward to maximizing, yes, my fitness, but my road skill per se is a big focus of mine, because when you're in crit racing, unlike road, you know, there's tight corners, there's a lot of variables that go into it on a very small track versus road racing where it's stretched out and, you know, those key moments and things of that nature. So really looking to amplify my road skill and translate that to the road during the race. Because in crit racing, it's not always about power. It's not always about who's the strongest. And frankly, some of the strongest guys have competitions within themselves and their own teams to say, hey, who can finish with the least amount of power used? Because that just means you are efficient. You know, low power with high speed, you're drafting right, you're taking the right turns, you're using the apex of the turn to carry your speed through. You know, you're not in the wind. You're conserving energy, which is the main objective of crit racing, is spending the least amount of energy and being able to win that race. You know, so that's on the agenda this year. Obviously, I want to get significantly stronger. Started out the season with, a higher FTP than where I ended, which is nice. So now I'm spending, 185, 195, 200 watts, which is kind of like the top of my zone 2, but with a controlled, consistent heart rate, which is nice, because that lets you know that you're gaining fitness. So being able to utilize that tool in my tool belt to translate that higher base into the race, to be able to last longer. Another really cool thing too is that my zone 2 heart beats per minute range, is pretty interesting. It's about 135 to 162, which I think is very advantageous, because for a higher heart rate in the 160s, I can still push zone 2 and my legs aren't getting flushed with lactate just quite yet, which enables me, again, it's just a higher base. It's a bigger base, and when you have a bigger base, you're able to sustain those higher efforts for longer. That brings in durability, repeatability, being able to punch, sit back, punch again, sit back, punch again. Those are all conducive, and they work together with a stronger and higher base. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been in this pretty big build block. It's been kind of a pain in the ass doing constant, 5x3, 5x4, 2x20, different sort efforts at threshold, that is increasing my ability to use lactate as energy, for one, and two, last longer in those harder efforts, which is great. So yeah, they suck, but they're very advantageous, because if I were to go to a breakaway or chase down an effort, I have those bullets, if you will, to be able to say, okay, in training, I've done threshold for 20 minutes at blah, blah, blah. Granted, in the middle of a race, you're going 26, 27, 28 miles an hour. You're not saying, oh, I did this power at blah, blah, blah. You just had that sensation in your leg that you've already done in training that is not foreign to you when you use it in the race. So I know for sure, like, riders like Tade, who have consistently trained those long range attacks, that long range attack isn't the first time he's done high threshold for 70K, attack during the race. So what you do in practice is good because it allows it to be not foreign in the race, and you know what those sensations are, which I think is huge. And Liam has done a great job at that with preparing my body and exposing my body to those race-like efforts, as any coach should. So that's pretty interesting. And about the new bike, my first race I had a mechanical. So I had been Zwifting all winter, and my drivetrain was, it was used up, It was used up, and, I need to get better at this, but, I'm afraid of the mechanical stuff. I know how to pump up my tire, but I don't know the intricacies of, hey, doing grip tape, or swapping cranks out, or fixing a derailleur, a brake bleed, or I don't have tubeless, but if I did, I wouldn't know how to put the sealant in. So essentially, like I said, drivetrain was 100% used up. I run 165 cranks, and the teeth on the big chain ring itself were pointy, where naturally they're supposed to be a mix of pointy and square. So when you put the chain on, the chain sticks flush to the ring, and there's no give in the chain if you were to pull it off the ring. But my bike, the chain was worn. I had got a new one in August of last year, and it's March 2026 now. So the chain was worn, and I could pull the chain off the ring, and there was a crap ton of slack. So when the bell went off to start the race, literally as soon as I clipped in on my left foot and my left foot went down, the chain slipped and my foot went straight to the ground. I didn't fall off, thank God, but my chain slipped. So then I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm spinning there. Everybody's passing me. I finally get the chain back on, and I didn't even know how I did it. I didn't get off the bike. I got the chain on while still on the bike. So they're probably 15 seconds ahead of me. I had to haul ass to catch them. And in that effort to chase them, you know, it's a minute, 2 minutes into the race, and here I am thinking like, oh sweet, you know, my heart rate's all good. I'm fresh, I feel good. You know, nobody wants their heart rate to be 190 beats per minute the first 2 minutes of the race, but that was me. I had to hawk them down. I think I set like a second best PR on a 2 minute or something like that. And as I went to go catch them, chain slipped like 2 times. So I was like, bruh, ain't no way I can catch these guys. So I said, you know what, I said, I'm gonna let them lap me. I already lost, you know. So I let them lap me. So I pulled to the side, let them catch up, and I jumped into the back. I said, let me at least be of assistance to my teammates. So I got in the Peloton. I was straight. And, you know, we had a really strong Cat 3 in our team. It was a 3-4 race. And, you know, he's doing efforts out the front. I'm like, yo, I need to go help him out, blah, blah, blah. So me and a few of my teammates go to move up. And the moment I go to move up, chain slipped again. I say, you know what, man? I'm a liability at this point. We're going 30 miles an hour around this course. And I'm a liability. Like, either I'm going to fly off my bike or I'm going to go do an effort. I couldn't even stand up and do an effort. I was seated when I went to go move up and my chain slipped. I was a liability. So I peeled off to the side. I just didn't finish. And I'm walking around. Hey, who can help me? Who can help me? Who can help me? Shout out to Micah over at Carbon, who took a look at my bike. But it was a lesson learned for me. You know, bike maintenance is important, and I just kind of just been riding in the winter time. Didn't think anything of it and didn't check my bike, and I reaped the benefits of that. So I got a DNF on the first race, and that was that moment. All right, time for me to get a new bike. My fiance had been saying, get one, get one, get one. You're gonna use it. I said, you know what? You're right. Let me go ahead and see what I can do. So, shout out to Specialized. Appreciate it. And got a SL8 2024, 2025 Tarmac Expert on the way. Can't freaking wait. I'm going to use this bike as my trainer. You know, for Zwift and just a second bike. And I'm going to rock with that road geometry with the Tarmac coming up here soon. Should be here next week. So super excited about that. Super excited to show you all that. And it's going to be one heck of a season, I'll tell you that. I've been working hard. And I look forward to using that this season. All right, just did 3 hours on a trainer. And it's pretty late. I know we don't ride this late, but I didn't want to skip. So it's nice, man. It's nice seeing the work that you do pay off. Where I started last year, February, my FTP, my max 20-minute, last year is now what I'm doing for zone 2. So that's why I love cycling, because there's no special skill. It's 100% hard work. So see y'all in the next video. I'm gonna go shower, wash my face, go stretch. Don't forget to stretch. Don't forget to eat. Don't forget your protein, and stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Recovery is, I would defend, more significant than you being on the bike. So it prepares you for the next day. And if you're not recovered right, you're gonna feel it, and you're not gonna be able to put down as much power. So see you later. I'm closing out for the night.